Hello, my name is Alex. I am an avatar, but my words are generated by mates in mind. Thank you for watching part 4 of our Stress Awareness Starter Kit. Having learnt how to spot the signs of stress, anxiety, and depression, how to start a conversation with someone who might be experiencing mental ill health, and why it is important to complete a stress risk assessment. Therefore, in this episode, we will look at how you could make reasonable adjustments, if required.
My name is Julia, and together we will look at what reasonable adjustments are and provide some ideas on how you could think about making them. The first and important thing to note is that there is no standard adjustment. Each person is unique, and each job role is different. Therefore, the solution must suit the individual, the role, and the organisation. As we discovered in episode 2, workers are protected by a number of laws, including the Equalities Act 2010, which prohibits discrimination against people with the protected characteristics, which includes disability. The Act states that for the purposes of the Act, if he or she has a physical or mental impairment and the impairment has a substantial and long-term adverse effect on his or her ability to carry out normal day-to-day activities. At Mates in Mind, we do not describe mental ill health as being a disability, as it can reinforce the stigma that surrounds mental health. However, we will continue to use the government's terminology when referring to the Act. Within the definition of disability, mental impairment includes 1. Developmental, such as autistic spectrum disorders, ASD, dyslexia and dyspraxia. 2. Learning disabilities. 3. Mental health conditions with symptoms such as anxiety, low mood, panic attacks, phobias, or unshared perceptions, eating disorders, bipolar affective disorders, obsessive-compulsive disorders, personality disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder, and some self-harming behaviour. 4. Mental illnesses such as depression and schizophrenia. According to the HSE, you have a duty to make reasonable adjustments to ensure that services are accessible to disabled people as well as everybody else. If you don't, a worker may be able to make a claim in an employment tribunal. However, the employer must consider carefully if the adjustment meets the following criteria. 1. Will it remove or reduce the disadvantage? 2. Is it practical to make? 3. Is it affordable? 4. Could it harm the health and safety of others? Before you speak to the employee, both of you should check to see if your organisation has a policy in place for reasonable adjustments and refer to that during your conversation. During your individual stress risk assessment, you should have identified the contributory risk or risks. Now, using the principles we learned in episode 2 on how to start a conversation, have an open and honest discussion about what adjustments can be made to alleviate the risk. The next step is to consider whether any of the following barriers are contributing to the risk: physical, organisational, attitudinal, social. The HSE advises that you talk to your worker and agree what adjustments or modifications would help them thrive in the workplace. Make sure any adjustments are effective and sustainable. This may involve different workplace adjustments for workers with similar impairments. Examples of general adjustments. 1. Alternative work patterns. These could include flexible working, increasing the number of breaks, job share, or part-time working. 2. Assistive software, for example, automating repetitive tasks, improving organisation and time management, providing access to information quickly. 3. Phased return to work. 4. Communication formats. Examples of stress adjustments include 1. Role review. Are there any particularly stressful parts of the role? Can deadlines be changed? Can projects be broken down into smaller chunks? Or could they move to a different job or department? 2. Workload reviews. Is there any work that can be delegated, escalated, and/or moved to a colleague? 3. Relationships, if the stress is in regard to someone they are working with. Or 4. Could they work in a team they trust more? 4. Communications. Discuss what form of communication works best for them, for example. Someone seeing a meeting pop into their diary without explanation could make them feel anxious. So discuss how they would like to be informed about what the meeting is about. More examples of stress adjustments include 5. Skill development. Are there any courses or training that can upskill the person, for example, in the use of technology? Or prioritizing workloads? 6. Peer mentoring. Pair the person up with someone who can act as a sounding board, provide advice and guidance when required, help with skill development, etc. 7. Consider the environment. Would a quiet space, a personal office, or home working help to alleviate stress? Please remember that mental health, including stress, is not static. It changes over time. Therefore, as part of your discussions, be sure to agree next steps, for example, how long you will trial the adjustments and then come back to review their impact. If they are not working, then look at what else can be done to alleviate stress. Finally, ensure the person has support for their mental health. We will cover signposting further support in episode 5. If the request for a workplace adjustment is received without a meeting to discuss, then you must acknowledge the request within 2 weeks. You can download a template to help you start the conversation about adjustments on the HSE website using the link on screen. According to government statistics, on average, preventing a single job loss can save employers £8,000 in recruitment costs and business output. Therefore, it can cost more to recruit and onboard a new member of staff than to make reasonable adjustments.
If you find these short videos useful, but are not yet a supporter, please find out more about our community and how we can help you to build positive mental health in and through work. Please also consider fundraising for us and discover our free mental health and well-being resources using the QR codes on screen. You have now completed episode 4 in the Stress Awareness video series. Please also watch the final episode to discover how to signpost further support.